Hey, IDS 302. Let's just do this. I'm not prepared. Yeah, I am. Okay, so let me just throw stuff against the wall and see what sticks. Welcome to video 2.1. Um, it is Sunday morning, March 14th. Happy Pi Day. It is 10:20, and everyone that's not in Arizona has sprung ahead, I guess. Which really, it's just weird to me because, daylight savings time, if you're not in Arizona and a couple other pocket places in the country, you change twice a year, right? You fall back, you spring forward. Twice a year, that's it, and you go about your business. Us in Arizona and other small places, we change 6 months at a time. So now, starting today, I'm on Pacific time. And then 6 months later, approximately, I'll go back to Mountain time. Makes it weird. I have family and friends back home in Milwaukee area, and now I'm 2 hours behind them. Honestly, I don't mind. Honestly, I prefer California time because that's about as close as I get to living in California, being on the same time zone. Yeah, that's kind of my grass is greener is always California, and I hope that I think early April I'll be doing a class video or two, at least one from the Pacific Coast, as I'm going to take a week off. Not week off. I'm just going to take off for a week. Um, so anyhow, I'm going to do a quiz review on the next video, 2.2. Thought I'd do it today, and then I realized that some people might watch it today that haven't done the quiz. Quiz is due today. It shuts off at midnight. Make sure you remember that. Okay. Um, okay, about the videos, there's no due date on Easter eggs per se. I'd like you to get them in. But there's no late penalty. It's just 5 points. Just, you know, go back if you missed one, send them to me. Regarding points, if you keep an eye on your score, I don't know what you see exactly. Oh, here we go. Well, if you know me, you know that I yawn once every video. It's just the way it goes. So um, check your points, okay? If you sent me your Easter eggs and, 3 days go by or something, even 2 days for that matter, you let me know because something either I didn't get it or I forgot, set it aside, gave it to the wrong person, whatever. You let me know, okay, that you didn't get the points because I typically mark them instantly, okay, unless it's later in the day or at night, then I might let them go to tomorrow. So, okay, otherwise, let's see. Oh yeah, in terms of videos, some people I can always detect, when they get off to a start, some people just aren't going to watch the videos. They're just like they're not required. No, I watch it. Well, again, nothing's required, right? You're in college now. By law, you don't have to be here like you did in grade school, right? I'm not sure what the laws are about high school, but uh, I think it helps if you view the video because there's some things I'm going to cover here that I don't cover on the writing on the page. And that's good and bad, I guess. Um, because this is not a lecture-based course, so theoretically I don't have to do any videos. Of course, neither do I. They're not required for me. A lot of instructors prefer not to or do a lot less than I do. I just like to explain things verbally instead of on a big long instruction page, and I like to try to be clear, and I like to try to be cordial and collegial and allow you to know that you can contact me, et cetera, et cetera, right? Just different styles. It's fine. Um, so yeah, otherwise, and if I mumble, like once in a while, I get somebody that says I didn't hear an Easter egg three or two or one, but then everybody else is sending them in, so I get kind of confused, like, So I tell people give it another try. I want you to have to continue to listen to my videos, but So if I mumble, I'm trying not to mumble, I guess. Sometimes I'm trying to say them fairly quickly because I don't want to make it that obvious, which is weird, I guess. I don't know. You either watch a video or you don't. I mean, if you're gonna put on the closed caption and scroll through till you see the Easter egg words and then write, send them to me, well, wow, good for you. 5 points. You didn't learn anything. So it's your preference. Um, yeah, I thought of that. Trust me. So let's see. Like I said, random thoughts on a discussion board or a paper or anything any assignment. If there's like three separate prompts, for example, three separate questions, four or five, whatever it is, try to organize your response to mimic those three or whatever it is, right? So if you get, boom, three prompts to a discussion board, but then you write like a essay, I don't want to sit there and try to figure out where one ends and one begins, okay? Especially if you're not using paragraph breaks. Now, let's get to that. Thanks for the introductions. I truly do enjoy reading them, okay? Lets me know there's humanity out there and people have interesting lives and backgrounds and people have bizarre musical tastes. Which is what any old guy with it's what do they say? It's okay, boomer. Um, but yeah, it's good. I noticed the influx of older music, maybe because I mentioned it last time. People know, so I'm getting my Benny and the Jets, Let It Be, and probably some Bob Marley or something. It's good stuff, But whatever. If you want to post, Young Thug, I have no idea if that's real, but go right ahead. It's like I just can't imagine. I've gotten older and I'll put on my James Taylor, and I've seen fire and I've seen rain and stuff, and I hear my Crosby, Stills, Nash, and I'm thinking, yeah, that's the music of my youth, those my teens and 20s. I was thinking of you folks today who are, when you're like 60 years old and damn, play some of that Young Thug. Yeah, I grew up with him. Just too funny for me. But you know what? My parents said the same thing about me, and their parents said the same thing about them. And at some point, somebody's parents were mad at their kids for doing the Charleston when they should have done the waltz. And if you go back far enough, depending on what your belief system is, some parents were probably mad at their kids that they started walking on 2 feet instead of all fours, right? I know that kind of went over people's heads, right? All right. So also, when I write in your own words, um, it doesn't mean tell me what you know coming in. It means after the readings, after the assignment, now in your own words. It means don't just plagiarize and give me a big quote. So if I say in your own words, what is a discipline? It's not like, oh, he doesn't want me to look at the work, just write what I think. No, I want you to say, I don't want you to quote directly, but I want you to put, you read something, you assimilate, synthesize with it, and you explain it, right? So in your own words means tell me what you got out of that, in terms of a discipline. I'm not going to get into that because that's, like I said, part of the quiz. But in your own words, generally speaking, means still use the terms, the concepts, the ideas of what it is you're talking about, but couch it in your own words. It's okay. Um, all right. So here's an important thing: capitalize the disciplines, not the word discipline. Capitalize disciplines. I think if you're on my 301, you remember that. I harp on that. Believe me, I do so in 302. All right. So chemistry academically is a capital C. Okay, if I'm talking about the business up the road, business is lowercase. If I'm talking about your concentration as business, capital B. Okay. In this class, in my ideology of interdisciplinary studies, I prefer to give the disciplines the prominence they deserve as proper nouns because they're fields in academia. They deserve that. Okay. So capitalize them in this class. And you're going to find that if you don't capitalize them, I'm going to say that I don't see any. I don't see no discipline, hear no discipline, speak no discipline. I want it to be capitalized. Okay, so in terms of our communication, I said that on purpose because communication's lower C. But if we're talking about um, communication and analyzing interpersonal communication in communication, communication's a capital C. Okay, it's a discipline. I want you to remember that. It's very clear. And if you have any questions, let me know. Now, some people go over the board and they start capitalizing half of everything and they capitalize the word discipline. The word discipline is not a proper noun. But if you write African American studies, African hyphen American, new word studies, American, African are all capitalized. Okay, interdisciplinary is one word, but it's capitalized when we're talking about interdisciplinary studies. Talking about an interdisciplinary analysis, that's a process not capitalized. Talking about the field of IDS and you're spelling it out, it's capitalized. I'm trying to think of any other examples. Okay, I mean, history. You know, there's 35 students in this class that I have a history with. That's not capitalized. But a couple of my students in this class have a concentration of history. That's capitalized. The kid in there, he's majoring in history. Another high-paying gig in the family. Okay, let's see. It's rocket science history. All right, so did I do the first Easter egg? I don't think so. Guess what? Capitalize the disciplines. All right, did I mumble that? All right, Tanner's 5 steps. Okay, well, first let me jump to I don't need to talk about this stuff right now. I need to talk about what you're doing in the learning materials here. The nature of research from Leedy. That's the textbook that I showed you last week. This bad boy, Leedy. See Leedy in there? Yeah, there he is. Leedy. The nature of research. So important. I believe it's the linchpin, the key to everything in terms of your making that leap from what you consider to be research, one big ball, and you're taking it and you're specifying research, what it is here now at this level of university, right? Because as I talked about last time, when you were in high school or whatever, and you did a research project, you researched the Titanic, so you looked up, you saw about the history of the Titanic, what went into it, how many people were on it, what happened with the iceberg, and what's all. And you learned all kinds of things. You put it on a big piece of paper in your words, and you gave it to your teacher, and they said, "Here's my research paper on the Titanic." For that environment, that's fine. For this, it's fail. Okay, because a keyest component of university level research and post university, postdoc, et cetera, is you're adding knowledge to the field. You're adding something. I don't care if it's an eyedropper in the ocean of knowledge, but you're adding something in the field you're working in, field or fields. It's a very key component. It's a requirement, in fact. All right. If you're not going to add anything, you're not doing research, you're just doing a report. You're just compiling data. You're not making any discovery or anything new out of it. It's so important. I'm really, see how I'm acting, emphasizing this? All right. Yes, you can research a trip to Europe. You can research a new car. We say it all the time. It's fine. But when you're talking about research here at the university, research this class, it's not about you learning about something. Okay, like I said, the rude instructor would say, nobody cares. Okay, because research is being done by a researcher to add to their field, to contribute. Okay, it's not done because, well, I just want to learn something about frogs. So I'm going to research frogs. No, because guess what? Like I said, I'm not going to ask you a question. Did you get up and breathe this morning? Are you interested in breathing today? Is today a good day for you to breathe? Okay, great. We know it already. It's inherent to living. Well, guess what? If you are a frog biologist, researching frogs is what's inherent in your field. So it's already a given. Nobody needs to know that you're interested in frogs and blah. We know. We don't care. We want to know what you're discovering about frogs. Again, I go back to history and history text in class. I guarantee you, in this book, let's just put this in this book, there's not a single I, me, my in terms of the author writing in first person. Okay, and I can look at almost any textbook that I have on my bookshelf, and you can too. And you are rarely, if ever, of course, I don't like using absolutes, so I don't like saying never, but you are rarely, if ever, going to see I, me, my, because nobody cares about what that textbook author thinks. We want to know what they're writing down for us. We don't want to. We don't care if they're interested in the Civil War more than they are of the, World War One. We want to know what their job is to write about whatever. That's what they're doing. So I want to emphasize that. I want you to really get hardwired to that fact that you're a researcher on your side in entry level research, even though you're in entry level research, you are going to add to the knowledge in your field. You're not just going to enhance your own knowledge of the topic. You're going to research the topic and you're going to discover something about it. Okay? Discover something new. Now, I look at it, there's two ways of doing this to fulfill that requirement. One is to gather your own data, your new data. Let's go back to the frog biologist. He goes down to he takes a Jeep and he goes down to the pond and he goes walking down in there and he scoops up some frogs, stuff like that. And he goes back to his lab and he analyzes the frogs and he tests them out. And does he dissect them? I don't know. Okay. But it's like, wow, I just discovered this about frogs. I'm writing this up in my report. This is going to be research. This is my new frog species, blah, blah, blah. It's like, bam, that's one way of doing research. The other way is the same researcher, instead of getting all dressed up and going down to the pond, he decides to go across a database, multiple databases of frog stuff, frog DNA, frog this, frog that, puts it all together. But he's trained to identify certain things and see things. And he goes, oh my God, look at this. No one's ever thought that this frog could be related to this one on the other side of the world. And here's why I'm saying this. This evidence of this and blah, blah, blah. He's discovering something new with existing data. Okay. It's two different ways to contribute new information, right? Existing data and new data. Well, in this course, in 7.5 weeks, in introductory research and everybody on a different topic, it's very difficult. So we're going to use the get new data part, not the use existing data, because that just turns into a report. I don't expect you or me to be skilled enough to discover new things out of existing data. Okay. We've got to get our own new data. So that's what we're going to be doing. So we're going to be doing, everyone's going to choose their topic soon as possible. It's going to be general. And this is going to be really important. So I'll give you a figure. If you choose climate change, for example, my God, that's a huge topic. How the hell are you going to research that? I know you can't. You can't research it. Okay, I just give you that as your direction, your starting point. Whether it's gun rights or Black Lives Matter or domestic violence or whatever it is, climate change, sustainability, it's a general topic. I want to know which way you're headed. Now, after that, you're going to drill it way down to what? You're going to drill it down to this question, overarching question. You ready? This is going to be word for word, comma for comma. What are some of the opinions, perceptions, and experiences regarding blank, you fill in the blank, comma, revealed in a survey of random adults? Question mark. What are some of the opinions, perceptions, and experiences regarding blank revealed in a survey of random adults? You will see that question posted a little bit later in the course, but everything's going to kind of back up to that. That's what you're doing. So you're looking at Black Lives Matter, and you're going to do some background research. Okay, step one, you're going to justify it as you're going to talk about it, make the background is complex, why it would require a interdisciplinary analysis. Step two, you're going to defend it, and you're going to ask some questions, rhetorical or not, identify disciplines you're going to be working with. Now, I'd like everyone to work with 3 disciplines, three concentrations, 3 disciplines. It's the same thing. Not 4, not 2. You are not required to use your concentrations. That is for you to go out and take your classes. For this course, you can use the disciplines at work. So if one of yours works, the other one doesn't, Go away. If neither of them work, but you still are so interested in this, I want to check it out. Fine. Give me 3. And there's a reason for that I'll get into later, but 3 is the way to go. All right. Now, then you're going to do a step 3, annotated bibliography. You're going to look at research that came before you, revolved around your topic. But your topic, in a sense, thinking about this question, because step 4 in there, you're going to develop and send out a survey, anonymous survey to random adults, not to ASU students, not to physical trainers, not to old people, random adults. We need data. We don't have time to be picky. Yes, there's studies that may only be work for women under 30, okay, or for whatever demographic. This one, wide open. As long as you're 18 and over, good. If you're 17 and under, you're going to fail. I don't want a single data point from that. I'm going to show you how to build a survey. I'm going to show you how to ask questions. But that's what you're going to do to get your new data. You're going to get a snapshot of people's opinions, perceptions, and experiences. Now it's going to be quantitative, so we're going to get into that, but it means no interviews, no open-ended questions. Because if you do that, you can do mixed methods or qualitative, which means you've got to do a transcripting, you've got to do a coding system, you've got to do a validity horizon, you've got to do a meaning field. Frankly, I don't want anybody doing that because I don't want to do it. Okay, so let's keep it that way. So I'm giving you the overview. Then step 5, you're going to put it all together, blah, blah, blah. If you want to look at the final paper, you're doing a paper every week to put it all together, okay? So look at, like I said, read the leady thing talking about what research is, right? Look at the little 1 page by Dr. McCormick from our department about thinking like an interdisciplinarian, okay? Look up, I mean, there's just things in here. I'm not going to talk about all these right now. Let's do Easter egg number 2, Tanner's 5 steps of integration on page 34, I think it is, maybe 32. But you'll see Tanner's 5 steps of integration. That's what we're using. So familiarize yourself with that. Okay, it's perfect for our class, I think, right? Then you got to read chapter 3 and 7. Why don't you get to 7 because it talks about an introduction to interdisciplinary research, 9 pages. Chapter 3 is 14 pages, interdisciplinary and integrative learning. And then you've got, like I said, Tanner's 5 steps are on page 34, it says. All right, so important things. Now, there is a question of ethics, and there's a page I devote to that, IRB ethics, and it's part of a quiz, so familiarize yourself with those. IRB is an institutional review board. It meets every few months or so, and usually every institution has one. What they do is they get presented a research proposal on something that needs to be approved. Vulnerable communities, demographics, things like that, topics that are vulnerable, minors, um, substance abuse, other victims, things like that. We don't have time to do the IRB approval in this course, so that's why you can't use any topic that is, that violates the IRB ethics, okay? So you look at that, right? So we're staying away from that. Then ethics. Quiz 2 is 30 multiple choice. And actually, I think it's like 15 multiple choice, 15 true false. That's due next Sunday before midnight. One of the things, then there's a thinking outside the box, a discussion board on disciplines. I have a Word doc in there that you're going to see. It's like 75 pages. And all it is a giant list of disciplines. Okay. And that's all you got to do is go through that. Think outside the box here. Don't give me the standard. If you're business and communication, I don't want to see business and communication. I already know you like those. I don't care. I want to blow your mind with looking at, I didn't know that, dog psychology was a thing, a discipline. Oh my God, this is bizarre. I want to blow your mind. I don't know what's in there, but you'll be surprised. I want you to be surprised. And look, it's about expanding your view, especially of academia right now, okay? So you want to do well on that and really think outside the box and look at those disciplines, okay? Because trust me, if you're taking the easy way, I know that it's very obvious to me. I see what's going on here, okay? So again, it's about, kind of like also, as we move forward here, we're going to start doing papers. If you start the paper on the day it's due, you're not going to do well in this course. Okay, it's up to you, of course. I don't know. Everybody's different. You may think you could burn it out in 6 hours and just going to invest the last Sunday or whatever. It's up to you. But, a good writer of these things, of anything, will do the writing, organize it well, do an outline or something. They'll work on their formatting then. They'll put it in a drawer and read it over again the next day when they have a fresh outlook at it. They'll use spell grammar check. Okay? Then they'll get it turned in when they're happy with what they've done. Not just to shove it at me one long paragraph and let me decide what the hell's in there. Because presentation is important. We're talking about the protocols involved, the process involved, and the presentation involved, the 3 Ps. Okay, that was for you, Amanda. Okay, 3 Ps. It's all important. I'm not going to sit here and teach you about chemistry, communication, business. I'm not teaching you about that. I'm trying to teach you a process of integration and the presentation of that, the protocols you go through, the presentation. It's important. Again, like you drive up, you're shopping for a house, doing research on buying a house, shopping for a house, you pull up to the curb and you look at this thing and it's like, oh my God, aluminum siding's rusted and it's falling apart and the roof needs shingling and everything like that. But the price was good, but you don't go inside. You drive by, you don't even go inside because it looks like crap. The inside is like, oh my God, look at this. It's real tile and marble and oh my, it's beautiful. The beams and everything, they just let their outside go to hell. Okay, so you don't give it a chance because the presentation sucked, right? I mean, why do you think they have the smell of chocolate chip cookies in these places? It's presentation, right? So the formatting and the organization of your paper is important. Presentation. Is it as important as the content? Content? Probably not. But who gets to the content if the presentation sucks, right? I know I'm going over my time here, but might as well get close to a half hour and be done with it. But go through these because I'm not going to sit here and read this stuff to you because it's part of the work already, and that's not what these videos are for. Just remembering, though, of course, that research means adding something, okay? Adding, okay? Not just adding to your knowledge, adding to the body of knowledge in your field. Like I said, if your field was the Pacific Ocean and what you just added was an eyedropper, bloop, you still added something, okay? Because isn't that what that ocean is? Just a trillion, quadrillion eyedroppers, right? Ooh, it gets real. I'm getting really esoteric here. Okay, so everybody good? Let's do Easter egg numeral trace. And it is research is additive. Okay? So 28 minutes later, he's done. And okay, that's a half hour. You're not getting back. Forks up. Peace.